The American Air Museum in Britain is located at Imperial War Museum, Duxford, in the UK, and it stands as the memorial for the more than 30,000 U.S. airmen who died flying from England in the Second World War. We also house the largest collection of U.S. military aircraft of anywhere outside of the United States. It's a unique role. So we work in tandem with the leadership and the team of Imperial War Museums who operate the museum on a day-to-day basis. And so then they also provide us with some significant administrative support on the finance side and that sort of thing. And so I've got the typical responsibilities of a nonprofit executive director. I'm charged with leading a really talented fundraising team here in the States. And so I live here in the States. Of course, the museum is across the pond. So we've got a team here in the States that leads fundraising, and 96% of our donors are stateside. That's primary focus of my work and our team's work. And then beyond that, I work with our finance and curatorial, conservation, and learning teams that are based in both London and in Duxford in the UK. And further, as executive director, I get the opportunity to work with a great board. We have trustees that range across the US, the UK, and really beyond, depending on the day or month, to deliver our mission. And so we have a great group that is incredibly committed to the American Air Museum. An absolute no-brainer. It checked all the boxes for me. It was an opportunity to make the leap from development director to executive director and lead an organization and a museum whose mission is to educate and share the stories of our veterans, our heroes. And then from a personal standpoint, so my grandfather and my two great uncles, his brothers, served in the Second World War. My grandfather was and one of my Uncle Hugh were both in the Army, served in Europe, all three in the European theater. And then my great Uncle Paul, as it turns out, served as a waist gunner on a B-17 called the Lucky Lady with the 381st Bomb Group that flew out of RAF Ridgewell in the UK. Of course, they were shot down in August of 1943, and he spent the remainder of the war as a POW. But I can't think of any better way to honor their service than in the role that I'm in now. And so this has been incredibly rewarding. And beyond that, it was an opportunity to lead, really would amount to another turnaround. Fundraising in the organization had really plateaued. The board was looking for someone in the States rather than in the UK to lead this, given that our donors are here. And so that made a lot of sense. So the stars aligned. I mean, I can't think of a more perfect opportunity than what was presented here. And it's, I've been with the organization now for about 18 months, and it's been, it's had its challenges, of course, anything does, but it's been a lot of fun. We've made a lot of progress. It was the very best experience I've had working with recruiting service. You all, so this started with when I was actually contacted by DRiWaterstone for another position about 3 weeks before I was contacted about the American Air Museum position. It was just not something I was interested in. But the team at DRI said, no fear, we'll call back if there's something else. And this came available, and got a call immediately about it. And the thing that I think stuck out to me the most was you all took the time to ensure that, not only was, those that were doing the interviewing on the organization side, whether those were, staff in the UK or, trustees, members of the board were prepared for everything on the call. But I mean, you all made sure that I was prepared as well for every call, for every meeting. It was painfully obvious that you were doing the same for the organization, because it was, some of the most prepared interviewing I've been a part of. And so that was incredibly helpful to me. And further, it was clear that you all had taken the time to find the right candidates so that the process was more streamlined. There was really no time wasted. I mean, it was a really seamless process. It moved really quickly. And so I think it was for me. There's no doubt, if we've got opportunity to hire, as I think we will here in the coming years, that you all are who we're calling. I personally enjoyed working with you all, and I've heard the same from the trustees that were involved in the process and the staff at Imperial War Museums who were involved in the process. So just excellent all around.